few minutes left with you, and I want to spend that on Ben Simmons. When do we see him play in Brooklyn for the Nets? What do you got?
My colleague Ramona Shelburne, who has done terrific reporting with inside information on Ben Simmons for months, said yesterday it's a matter of weeks, not months. And I staggered when she said that because Saturday night I'm going to the Bucks-Nets game. It's our ABC game on Saturday night, and I was thinking maybe Ben would be back for that game. I guess not. And, Ramona didn't just say that flippantly. She knows. And so my thing is I am going to circle March 10th. March 10th is when the Nets play their final scheduled game of the season at the Sixers. And as far as I know, Ben is not injured. He's been dealing with some mental health challenges, and so that is not something you put a schedule on. So I don't know. To me, it's fascinating about whether he plays before March 10th or not.
So it would be – see, that's the conundrum with this whole conversation, Brian. I'll just walk through the front door with you. Is this the conversation was mental health the issue before – the shots weren't taken in the playoffs? Were they made worse by the reaction to what happened in Philadelphia? Is it something that caused him to not go to the Olympics and work on his game like you suggested on this very program? Was it the cause of him not showing up to Philadelphia ready to play? Or was this all something that was put out there to make everybody back off Ben Simmons' desire to not play for Philadelphia? And now we're wondering what's going on with the Nets. And I don't know what to make of it. And I know it's a very touchy subject and very unfair potentially to Simmons or to anyone else who does have mental problems. I don't know what to make of it, Brian.
The reason that it is causing an issue with credibility is because of the way that it came out. If Ben had identified that as a reason why he was not joining the Sixers from the start of the season, then I think it would have been understood a little bit better. The issue came when he reported to the 76ers, and after holding out, trying to get traded throughout training camp, and he started getting fines, started racking up, and then he reported, and then it came out that that's what it was. Had that been handled in a different order, I think it would have been perceived differently. And so, of course, you have to respect what he's going through. I can't relate to it, so I have to yield. But, in terms of I know that it sounds very coarse to talk about the public relations of announcing an issue with mental health challenges, but the public relations of it made this more difficult from a PR standpoint.
But we will see Harden this week, correct? This is when we're going to see him first up, right?
I believe so, but I have to say we're in a new NBA that I'm still grappling with, where Harden announces that his hamstring is fine, but that he's not going to play for a while, including in the All-Star. So I don't, the credibility of him and his injuries and speaking about his injuries to me is shot. So I guess is my answer.
And so championship or bust in Philadelphia for Harden, right? This year or however long he stays. Is that fair?
This is why I thought they had to make the trade. I believe he's 33. Joel Embiid is absolutely awesome. Yeah. He is just killing the league. And, if you watch the All-Star game, in the fourth quarter, the All-Star game is now one of the most competitive things that you see. It's one of the strangest things. The first three quarters are an absolute joke. But now the fourth quarter, with the way they've made it, it's a referendum on a who's who of the NBA. To me, the greatest compliment you can kind of give a player in the regular season is that he's out there on the court in the fourth quarter of the All-Star game. And, it was kind of fascinating to go back and see who they wanted on the court and who wasn't on the court, okay? 2 years ago when they first did this, Joel Embiid was the best player on the court. in that game in Chicago. His team ended up not winning. He was the best player on the court. On Sunday night, you see who was making the plays in the fourth quarter. It was Embiid, who's probably going to win the MVP. It was Giannis, the two-time MVP and the reigning champ. It was LeBron. It was like this is when the big boys, make their statements. Embiid was awesome in that game. And so this is Embiid's time. And so to import a player like Harden, the Sixers had to do it now. They had to do it now because you don't know how long James Harden is going to be at this level. You don't know when Joel Embiid is going to be at this, healthy at this level. Even if you waited until the summer, you would have missed a chance at biting the apple this time. So the Sixers, to my mind, are, let's watch them. They're almost the most compelling story in the NBA after the break. Right before the break, the last game, Thursday night, they go into Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got all their star players. Philly wins in Milwaukee without Harden coming back. Embiid puts up 42. Philly, to me, is the most compelling thing we got going, and especially when Harden comes here pretty soon.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.